Ah, yes, the list. Okay. So, picking up where we left off. Um, Number 95. Oh boy. What a one to start off with. Yeah, it's good enough. Okay, 95. What a one to start off with. So this one's a bit of a guilty pleasure for me, I guess. But hey, don't judge. We all have them. So I'm kind of over the embarrassment stage. Where I'm just kind of like, yeah, so what? What are you gonna do about it, huh? You gonna reach through the screen and do something? You can't. So I'm just gonna go ahead and state this publicly. Number 95 is Avril Lavigne, and that one's probably surprising to a lot of you. You know, it's something different for everyone, and for me personally, I can't stand most pop music. Like this, things on the radio is just garbage. No matter what it's masquerading as, rock, rap, country, reggae, whatever. Like it's don't fool yourself. It's pop music. It's the same thing. But this is just straight up pop music, and yeah, I mean, like I said, it's something different for everyone. So you can keep your Ariana Grande and your Demi Lovato and your Billie Eilish and your whoever else. Just give me Avril Lavigne. That's all I need. That's all I'll extract from that whole thing there. I honestly couldn't tell you what it is. I think it's just some kind of energy that's just a little bit more sincere. I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like objectively, it's crap, and I know it is, which is why it's frustrating. But it's like a guilty pleasure, But that's just how it is. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to myself. I'm not gonna say I don't like the music. Um, so yeah, uh, yeah. I don't know what else to say about this one. Um, yeah, you're not gonna find a lot of pop music on this list, but yeah. So Avril Lavigne. Let's see. My favorite Avril Lavigne song is Skater Boy, and then um, let's see. That's followed by I'm with You, and My Happy Ending, and Warrior, and the 2020 remake We Are Warriors, and all that stuff. I mean, these songs just get stuck in my head. On any given day, there's one of them is just going on repeat in there. So I mean, like I said, everybody's got something. So that's my musical vice there. So you probably didn't know that, but now you do. Okay, moving on swiftly. Number 94 is Chaos Divine. Um, so Chaos Divine is a all alternative metal, yeah, alternative metal band. Um, they have a brilliant album called. I forgot to look up. I forgot to look up what the album was called before I started recording. Um, but it's the one. The album cover. It's got the two heads like from Electric Company, or at least that's how I remember it. That might not actually be what it is, but um, I don't know. And why I say Electric Company? Nobody's gonna get that reference. Um, yeah, I had a strange childhood, folks. But yeah, so Chaos Divine, they have that wonderful album. It's got oh, you know what? I'll just tell you some songs from it, and then you can probably figure out the album it is. It's got songs like Silence, Two Doors, At the Ringing of the Siren, all that good stuff. That's just to name a few. And then there's also the other album with the light bulb, with the song Avalon. I'm not sure if the album's also called Avalon or if it's something. I feel like it's not. It could be though. I don't know. But it's got the song Avalon. That one slaps. And there were a few others from that album I remember. But everything I've heard from Chaos Divine is divine. Um, Great band. I love the sound. I love how it's like airy and stuff. It's almost like lo-fi metal in a way. I guess degent is the term for that, but it's not degent. but it has that sort of sound where it's just sort of like it droning a little bit, but not in like a boring way, just kind of in like a, I don't know, but it just elicits this sense of like euphoria, or like it's sort of like, it's metal, but it's also kind of like relaxing in a way. That's really weird. I have this interesting relationship with metal where I find most of it soothing, you know. So Chaos Divine is definitely an example of that, where I think it's very soothing music. Whereas, you know, if you're not a metalhead by default, or if you're not usually into that stuff, you might be like, oh, this is metal music, you know, this is not soothing at all. But I don't know, maybe it's a difference in ears or something. I don't know. How's it been 6 minutes already? Okay, number 93. Ah, here's another. Here's a really mainstream one. Number 93, the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Yeah, you probably didn't expect them to see on this list either. Oh, Mr. Everything Man listens to Red Hot Chili Peppers. Yeah, I like him. I don't know what else to say. It's not as embarrassing as Avril Lavigne, but I guess it's still somewhat of a guilty pleasure. Um, yeah, I mean, they're pretty good. I don't have a problem with them. I like a lot of the music. Californication, Dana, California. Um, Under the Bridge, I think, is an underrated one. Um, and I mean, Scar Tissue. I can take or leave that one. There's a few. Like, I'm trying to think. The album Californication is pretty solid. Stadium Arcadium is a solid one. They got a whole bunch of albums. See, I just look like an idiot when I make these videos because I don't do any research before this. So, like, I haven't listened to a Red Hot Chili Peppers song in like months. So, in an album, and even longer. So, really, if I was responsible, I would have each of these be fresh in my mind. I'd be saying like, let's see, what's next up on the list? Okay, let me listen to some albums by these next 5 bands to, refresh my memory on them, and then, I'll be able to give more accurate details about things. But, it just doesn't work out that way. I can carve a half hour into a day to make a video like this, but the time it took to make the list itself is about all the time. I still had to refresh myself on some of these and to determine, like, the placement of the list. Like, is this going to be number 82 or 86, or is this going to be, like, to figure out where things go on the list and kind of shuffle them around. I'm like, which one's better, this one or this one, and just kind of do that. So I did do some of that, but yeah, like I said, it's time consuming because you figure each album's like an hour, 2 hours. There's only so many hours in a day, and I can't spend an entire day just listening to music. And then I have my daily song discoveries and everything. But yeah, so suffice to say, Red Hot Chili Peppers is number 93. I've never had a problem with them, and I'd say now they're on the top 100. They're pretty decent. I like their style. I like it's like easygoing, kind of like unassuming. It's not like pretentious or snobbish or anything. It's just easygoing and chill, but it's also like they know what they're doing too. And they're pretty talented musicians, and like they got some wits about them, and I can tell they definitely enjoy doing what they want to do. It checks every box for me. It's a very, very solid musical act. Okay. That brings us to 92. Wow, what an interesting quadrant we've reached here. I'm going to take a sip of water. Now, this one's going to upset everyone because the people that like this band are going to be upset that it's number 92 and not in the top 10 or 20. And then the people that don't like them, of course, are just going to be upset that they're on the list at all. So this one's really just going to make enemies all across the board. Because, if you're going to put it on the list, don't put it at number 92, right? But I'm just being honest. I just like these top 91 better. But, like I said, this list doesn't even encapsulate all of the tier 1 acts for me. So just to be on here is a huge honor on their part. But, yeah, number 92 is The Beatles. Yeah. Yeah, so there seems to be this thought going around. Well, people's lives are ruled by nostalgia, it seems. So people have this logic that older equals better, for just no reason. Like older music is just automatically superior to new music. I don't understand why people think that. I mean, if you're older, I get it because it's like it's nostalgic and it reminds you of childhood or whatever when you were young and like do stuff with your life and all that. But for young people to say that or just I guess be brainwashed by their parents or whatever, I don't know. It just seems to be like cool to think that. I never really got that. First of all, now is the best time in music because we can do everything we've been able to do for all of musical history plus more. We've had the most technological advances and we can make the most complex music. You can make whatever kind of music you want. We can get so much closer to creating the sounds in these musicians' heads than we ever could. Like, could you imagine if composers from the classical and Baroque and Romantic and the eras and everything, like, were alive today, like their music would be so much different than the way that they made it because that's just what they were limited to at the time. And now, who knows? They could be the next. Well, I don't want to spoil anything else on the list. I was going to name drop someone in particular, but then it would spoil someone higher up on the list. But yeah, so older's definitely not better at all. But that being said, the Beatles, I think, really pioneered the. I'm not going to be a Wikipedia page here. I mean, first of all, I'm just going to say this. Hold on. All right, I'm just going to say this. Beatles superfans are laughable because the Beatles themselves don't even like all of their music. In fact, if you actually do some research, you'll find out that they even admitted everything they did up until like 1964, I think, was garbage. Like, that's their words. So they didn't even like the old music. So everything after that, though, from the second half of their career, I think it's brilliant. Strawberry Fields Forever. Yeah, I guess that defines me. I'm a Strawberry Fields Forever kind of guy. I like A Day in the Life, but I also like Eleanor Rigby. I really like that one actually, and I Am the Walrus. Of course, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. There's really, it's unique. Like there's been plenty of people after them, but before them, like they're really the first ones to do anything that sounded even close to that. But that's what I mean. It's like if this was the 1970s, they'd absolutely be at number one, or at least bands, they'd be much higher on the list. But they sort of paved the way for other musical acts, I think, to take inspiration from them. So they're sort of a stepping stone. It's not the finished product. It's not the final step in musical evolution, but it's still like, for what it is, it's very impressive, especially for the time. But I definitely think they deserve to be on the list at right about number 92. Just because the stuff they say, like it's timeless. Those songs are timeless, and things like that. So very very talented for sure, and I love the band and everything. Okay, moving on. This is the wrong one. This one. Okay. Okay. Number 91, Matt Mason. Hey, is this listening to Matt Mason today? Yeah, number 91, Matt Mason. So yeah, Matt Mason is. Well, he was indie when I discovered him, but now I guess he's more popular. I heard one of his songs in Walmart a little while ago, which is very surprising to me. And I think I heard one of his songs in McDonald's too. So yeah, he's definitely getting some recognition now. But I first discovered him like before he even had an album out, or maybe he had his debut album out. But whatever, 2 albums ago. Yeah, I think he has 3 albums right now, and the most recent one is the one that's really popular. But people are also retroactively now discovering music from his second album, which is also, now has a lot of views and everything. But the first one, you know, didn't really get much attention. But when he was first releasing singles for that first album is when I discovered him. A premiere for one of his songs was like number like 50 in my recommended on YouTube. I was just scrolling through my recommended, and I just kind of kept scrolling, and you know how it like pauses to load every 20 videos, you know? So it must have been like number 60 or 80 or something like that. And I was just like, yeah, I'll just see if it lands on anything. Because, like, up at the top, it's very predictable. It's just going to be my most frequently viewed channels and videos for my subscriptions and things like that. So, I tire of that. Every once in a while, I'm like, you know what, I just want to see, like, what's way down there, like, it would probably be something weird. And so, that happened to be one of the things that paused on when it was loading. Is Matt Mason, premieres in 3 minutes or whatever. And so I was like, oh, that's interesting. Is this a music thing? Is this a song? Whatever. And there were a few people in the chat. There were maybe like 7 other people there or whatever. And, they're all very friendly and everything. Oh, hey, welcome to the premiere. And Matt Mason himself was there. That was awesome. He was like typing things and making jokes and interacting with the chat and everything. I got some one-on-one chatting time. I basically got a full-on interview with the guy before the song started, so that was cool, so just very nice and very good. And I liked that song and that video and everything. And so I was like, wow, I gotta check out this guy's stuff. So I subscribed to his channel, which at the time didn't have any content, and I turned notifications on, and just all of a sudden he like dropped an album like the next week. And I was like, oh wow, this is cool. And so I've kept up with this stuff ever since. And it's a pretty solid catalog. Let's see, some of my favorite songs from him: Gravedigger, Cliffy, Cringe, Straight Razor. There's one other one. I don't know. I always forget at least one. He has a popular song, Hallucinogenics. That one's good too. I approve of most of them. There's only been a few that I've heard that are like meh or whatever, but I don't dislike any of them. That's going to be a trend with these top 100. But yeah, so Matt Mason, really solid. It's not rock or metal or anything. It's acoustic music. Oh yeah, I was starting to say it's like indie, and then I got distracted from that. But yeah, it's kind of it's acoustic music. It's sort of like folk music, I guess. Like sort of like again, I don't want to name drop anyone who's higher on the list. But yeah, so that's Matt Mason. Check him out. All right, number 90 is Dethklok. Yes, I grew up like many of you watching Metalocalypse and playing Guitar Hero, so this is right up my alley. What can I say? It's Dethklok. It's awesome. And I'm not usually into that kind of stuff, just to be clear. For example, 2 bands I don't as much care for are Tenacious D and Steel Panther. Especially Tenacious D, which surprises people a lot because it's like, you'd think for sure that'd be right up my alley. But, I mean, I get it, if you were 12 years old in 2007 and, you watch all these SpongeBob edited videos on YouTube and whatever, it's like, yeah, that's what you're going to be into, I guess. But it's just, I mean, I'm in like the right age bracket for it, I guess, but I just don't. It doesn't do anything for me, I know I'm supposed to love it, right? Like I'm basically required to, but I can't force myself to get into it, So, and Steel Panther, it's like I'd be lying if I didn't say I don't have some of their songs, But it gets old after a while. It's like, once in a great while, like, yeah, whatever. But so I don't mind Steel Panther. I just don't love them or anything. I wouldn't give them an honorable mention. But, yeah, so I'm not usually into that kind of stuff. But Dethklok to me is a standout because it's like they take music much more seriously than those 2 bands. It's like legitimately, it's very well produced, of course, and it's very like it's solid music on its own. Like take the show away and all the you know, the cartoon aspects and all the lore and the fictional whatever, and like just focus on the music, just introduce it as just a metal band like Xerath or like, you know, any of these other ones, and like, yeah, it holds up, you know, it really really holds up. Um, so I love the music. It sounds really good, and then obviously knowing the lore and everything, and having a whole universe attached to it just gives me something to imagine. You know, it makes it more vivid and immersive when I'm listening to the music. So it's just good fun all around, and then also just a really solid metal band. So, you know, I really dig Death Clock as number 90. Okay, number 89. Number 89, Employed to Serve. This is a band, they're pretty obscure. I discovered them through Music Choice one day, about, I guess, 2 years ago. 3 years ago. Like 2.5 years ago. Sometime in 2018. And, so, yeah, I was on the Music Choice Metal channel, as I often am when there's nothing else good on TV, or sometimes during commercial breaks if whatever I'm watching on TV. Like if there's two shows that I like or that I would watch on TV on at the same time. I don't know about you folks. Like if you know, leave a comment if you do the same thing. But I can't alternate between the two of them. Like show one goes to a commercial, let me switch to the channel where show two is, because to me it's like I don't want to watch part of an episode of something. Like I look at the TV guide on my phone. I have the app, and I'm like, you know, if I see like, okay, at 3 o'clock, you know, Impractical Jokers is coming on, or Futurama is coming on, or South Park's coming on, or whatever. I'll be like, I gotta be there. Like, okay, I'm gonna be at the TV at 2:58. Then, you know, like I gotta see the full episode. Now, if it's 3:32, then I gotta wait for the next half-hour cycle. I gotta kill 27 minutes till the next one comes in, because I'm not gonna tune in partway through an episode, even if I've already seen it 10 times. I don't know if you folks have that same thing, but it needs to be the full time slot. And I can tune away during commercial breaks, but I don't, you know, if I tune into something else that I also want to watch, then it's like you just see 3 minutes of the episode then, and it's like, did you watch it or not? You know, it's like, I don't know. It's just this weird thing. But I have no problem going to either flipping through and just, you know, scrolling through the nonsense on TV that I don't care about during commercial breaks, or going to Music Choice, which I would opt for every time. So, so yeah, I just went to Music Choice Metal, I think, during a commercial break of like Impractical Jokers or something, I don't know. And yeah, and Employed to Serve, and I think it was the song Eternal Forward Motion. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. And just to be clear, I don't like everything on Music Choice on the metal channel. It gets very tiresome. A lot of the stuff's very generic. Like for example, I don't like, you know, I mean, a lot of these bands like the Amity Affliction or Gemini Syndrome or whatever, and then you got like Under Oath and Beartooth or whatever, and like, you know, as I lay dying or while she sleeps or whatever. It's like I just can't get into all that. It's just too much. I mean, it's just, and I know the Amity Affliction is a big one. They're really popular in metal, and I've given them many chances. A former classmate of mine was like super into the Amity Affliction, and he was like, you know, because he was like one of these archetypal metalheads and everything. He's like, dude, you got to check out the Amity Affliction. I'm like, all right. And I'm like, yeah, I've heard of them. I've just never like listened to their music. He's like, oh, dude, like, and he sent me some songs from them, and I was like, I'm sorry, man. Like, I don't like this. It's generic. It doesn't do anything for me. I don't feel the passion there. You know, it doesn't elicit any emotional response from me. You know, so, and the same thing with Gemini Syndrome too. That was another one. He's like, dude, like, oh, okay, you didn't like the Amity Affliction, that's fine, but you're gonna love this. I mean, with your music taste, because we would exchange music, I'd send him like, well, I don't wanna spoil any of the ones coming up, but you know, some songs from some of these bands, and he'd be like, okay, yeah, well, check this out then. You know, if you like that, how about this? And then it was like Gemini Syndrome, and I was like, nah, dude, like I don't like this at all. So yeah, just to be clear, Music Choice Metal, I'm not, you know, just if you go to Music Choice Metal, don't automatically assume that I like whatever you're going to hear at that moment. But Employed to Serve, I happen to like that one. Eternal Forward Motion, that's probably still my favorite song from them. But that whole album is great. Pretty much every song. I think I have every song on that album. We Forgot You and Bare Bones in a Blue Sky, and Suspended in Emptiness is a really good one. Um, what's the Reality Filter? That's a great one. Just that whole album, whatever it's called. I have no idea what it's called, but I think it's called Eternal Forward Motion. Um, but whatever the case, you just type in uh, um, Employed to Serve Eternal Forward Motion, and the subsequent album is the one that I heard. So, and I think that's their entire discography. They may like have some other singles and stuff, but that's like their main thing. They don't have a whole lot of music, so. But I definitely have been digging what I've heard from them. Okay. Number 88 is Red Sun Rising, another band that I discovered through Music Choice. Though they are more mainstream. Not like super mainstream, but they have a pretty decent fan base. So Red Sun Rising is like a soft rock band, I guess. I think the first song I heard from them was Amnesia on Music Choice, and I really liked it. But after hearing their other music, Emotionless is really good. I think that's their most popular song or one of them. But my favorites are Stealing Life and what's the other one called? Death Wish. Yeah, Death Wish is probably my favorite actually. And Stealing Life, those two. And then Emotionless, Amnesia. The list just goes on and on. But they have like a unique sound. I don't really know how to describe it or what to compare it to, but it's just it's a really unique sound. Um, and I like it. I like the harmonies and how it's like upbeat, but it's also like playfully dark sometimes, but not like in a pretentious way. It's just like it's just fun. It's always fun to listen to, and it's great to have on. It's easy listening, kind of, but it's not like not like in an insulting way or anything, not in a brain rotting way. It's just fun, and it's just cool, and I like it. I don't know what else to say. Um, okay, number 87. Oh, here's an interesting one. Number 87 is Alika's Attic, or Alika's Attic. I'm not sure how. I think Alika's Attic. Um, some of you may know this as the River Phoenix band, but I see I see it so much differently. Um, the music, it kind of the only band I can think of that is kind of similar to is the Flaming Lips. Like with Steve from Blue's Clues. Um, like a little bit, and there's a little bit of like Real Estate, the band, Real Estate and the Flaming Lips, but it's more lively than those two, I think. Like the song, which one is In the Corner Dunce? That one, for example, there's so many changes, so many tempo changes and things in that song. Like there's so many components to it that like it doesn't drag on, you know. Not that there's a problem with like the Flaming Lips or Real Estate or whatever. I love those bands, but I'm just saying like the sound it's much more, it's diverse. It keeps it moving. It's not like super fast paced necessarily. It doesn't feel rushed, but you just get so much more out of each song. Too Many Colors is great. Across the Way, and In the Corner Dunce are probably the two best ones. But just really their entire discography. I mean, I've never been disappointed. It's very creative, and it's very like thought provoking, but also easy listening. And it's just very well done. It's very well made music, I think. and I really like it. All right, well, I'm getting a warning that it's about to cut out, even though we're not at 31:45 yet. So gonna have to cut it off there, and part 3 will be next, where we'll get 5 to 7 more, hopefully.